Welcome back to the Red Zone. I'm Ethan Bird.
And I'm Sydney Wicker. With CSU hosting Air Force this weekend, the Rams have been putting in some work, and having the bye was key for them last week.
The schedule every year, but you'd have a bye week before Air Force, or you'd hope to have them first, play them first, where you could really spend some time and work on this. Yeah, we work on it in spring, we work on it in fall camp, but your total focus on that game, I think, is huge, and that's what we've been, working on. Defense just primarily worked Air Force all last week. Offense did a little bit more fundamentals and technique of just playing your position, not necessarily schematically. We did a little bit on Thursday, but for our defense, it's been all, game planning for Air Force and what we need to do.
Now this game is going to be on prime time on ESPN2 at 5 in the afternoon on Saturday. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on the Rams, and my eyes are going to be on the Rams and Air Force offense. And this is going to be a huge offensive game. And my two guys for the CSU offense are Warren Jackson and Patrick O'Brien. Here they are connecting in the game. These two have just such a great connection. Patrick O'Brien has gone for triple-digit yardage and passing all 7 of his starts on the season. And Warren Jackson has had triple-digit receiving yards his last 4 games. And when they connect, plays happen. Here's Warren Jackson evading defenders off of a great pass from Patrick O'Brien. But the thing the Rams have to look out for is the Air Force red zone defense. And they have been unreal efficient. 36 for 40 in red zone trips this year. 31 of those have been touchdowns. And the big part of that is that triple option offense. When your defensive backs are backed up in the end zone, it's hard for them to know when and where to react. And with the triple action being so quick, there isn't a whole lot of time to react, and that's why they score so efficiently.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about the offense a lot, but the defense is going to be the struggle for both teams, I think, in this game. Looking at CSU's defense, they've struggled all year, but so has Air Force's. Here in this game against Navy, the Air Force Falcons really struggled being able to slow Navy down. They were able to compete with them quite a bit throughout the game, but just being able to make an efficient stop and really wrap those guys up has been a big struggle. And that's also been something that the Rams have struggled with. They can't make efficient tackles, and they can't stop players. When they took on New Mexico, they let that team come back and really play with them hand in hand. So they were constantly competing. They should have beat New Mexico by a ton. But the fact that they let them play and let them come back in certain areas kind of just shows how that Rams defense isn't fully there yet. They need to make more efficient stops, and they need to be better on that defense to allow the offense to not necessarily have to work as much. Absolutely.
And kind of with the exception of the game against UNLV, the Rams defense always seems to lose gas in that second part of the game. And that's something, like you said, that cannot happen against Air Force because of how Troy Calhoun absolutely conditions these guys. Not only are they in the military, but they're on Troy Calhoun's team, which from what I've heard sometimes can be almost worse. And yeah. Calhoun, is a legendary coach. He's got the experience. Absolutely. The Rams they'll have to stay taut.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see what happens between those two teams. I know Logan Stewart was one guy that's really been killing it for the Rams. He had 11 tackles in that New Mexico game, and he's been doing really well throughout the season. But we'll have to see how both of them come out and compete. And like you said, Troy Calhoun, he's got his team disciplined. And that Air Force team, they actually have an 82.2 winning percentage so far in that game. So it looks like it's in the Falcons' favor so far, but we'll have to see what happens.
I never trust Vegas.
Anyway. Well, we'll have to see.
The Rams basketball team picked up their first loss of the season at Cameron Indoor to the number 4 ranked Duke Blue Devils, but the team had nothing to be ashamed of, and it is all eyes ahead for their game tomorrow against Omaha.
We play Omaha on Wednesday at home, and there's 30 games, whatever on your schedule, and win or lose, you got to learn from what you can and move on, and I think they will. This group is coachable, and I think they want to get better, and they'll realize as the season went on that this will help them a lot more than they realize even today. I know that.
Yeah, and looking at this Omaha game, the key player to really look out for is their senior guard, JT Gibson. Gibson had a triple-double in the Mavericks last game, and last season he went on an 11-game double-double streak and was contributing an average of 12 points per game. Not only can Gibson get the buckets, but he also is key with assisting his teammates. The Mavericks have 1 loss on the season so far, but they've been on a 2-game winning streak, so we'll have to see what happens when the Rams host them.
Absolutely, and 2 key freshmen received very valuable experience at Duke that will help them find their own and lead this team. And those guys are David Roddy and Isaiah Stevens. Roddy is a 6'5" forward. He had 12 points at Duke, and then there's Stevens, who's a 6-foot guard, also had 12 points at Duke, but he's shooting 5 for 9 on threes on the season. And the kid's a shooter, and he's got a lot of room to grow, especially learning from Hiron Edwards. But I'm a big David Roddy guy. I believe in David Roddy. I mean, here's him throwing down an absolutely massive dunk at Duke. I mean, what can any young basketball player dream of than to dunk at Cameron Indoor Stadium? David Roddy got to do that, and I think his future at CSU is very bright, and I think he'll show out against Omaha.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to see him continue throughout the season because let me tell you, I was there and watching him dunk at Duke was pretty incredible. They started calling him Air Roddy, so I think it's pretty funny. We'll have to see what happens. Yeah, pretty neat.
I hope that sticks. I want to say that for another 4 years.
Me too. But Moby's going to be packed this week as the now 12th ranked CSU volleyball team is back home to take on Utah State and Boise State. So Ethan, who's on your volleyball watch list?
Starting with Utah State, I have junior hitter Bailey Downing. Bailey Downing has been a bright spot for a struggling Utah State team who has only 2 wins on the season, and she has 19.5 more points than the next leading scorer on Utah State. But the funny thing is that between Brianna Runnels, Kiersey Hillier, and Hogart Jensen, the 3 of them have more points combined than the top 6 scorers on Utah State. It might be another sweep in Moby on Thursday night.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel bad for those Aggies, but we'll have to see what happens. Another key player to look out for the Rams is libero Alexa Romeliotis. She will be key for shutting down the Aggies' outside hitters. She is hitting 50% in the matches and has been really quick around the court. Romeliotis had 17 digs in the Rams' last game, and she's also played in all the Rams games so far this season. She's always someone you really have to watch out for. But looking at Saturday's game, it's senior day in Moby Arena. The Rams will host Boise State in their final regular season home game. And looking at the Broncos roster, Boise State freshman Lauren Olinger is leading her team across the board. With 272 kills on the season and 818 total attacks, the outside hitter is one of Boise State's strongest players. In their last game against the New Mexico Lobos, Olinger finished the game with 21 kills and helped hold the Lobos to 15.7 hitting percentage.
And on the other side of the net from her will be Katie Oleksak, and this is her swan song. This is her possibly final game at Moby Arena, hopefully not, but Katie has really just been showing why she was voted the preseason All-Mountain West Player of the Year. 910 assists, 60 kills as a setter is always huge, 169 digs as a setter. She does it all for this Rams team. The offense flows through her, this team flows through her, and she's been an absolute leader for this team. Keep an eye out for her to do one final thing for Ram fans to remember.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really hoping she shows out so maybe she can get 1,000 assists. I think that would be so cool for her.
That'd
but looking
awesome.
at those seniors having their final game in Moby, I think they'll have a little bit of emotion, but of course they do have the tournament that they'll be going to for sure, and we'll have to see how they do in that. But I know when I was a senior in high school and it was my last game, it was so emotional for me. So I'm really sad for these girls because they've really shown what it's like to be a team and to contribute together. But yeah, I'm excited to see how they play in their final games at home.
One thing to really look out for these Rams is that RPI. Right now they're ranked 18th in RPI, and if they get to 16th on Saturday, won't be the final game at Moby because they could be hosting the first round of the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. But now, Ethan, it's time for Tell Me I'm Stupid. So, will I be calling you stupid this week?
Sydney, I really hope you're not, but tell me I'm stupid, but Larry Walker should absolutely, without a doubt, be voted into the Hall of Fame this winter.
You know, Ethan, I really think you're onto something here.
Oh, yeah?
All right.
I really have to agree with you. I mean, why not?
Well, and that's absolutely right. I mean, the biggest thing against Larry Walker is that he played 10 seasons at Coors Field, but that's a bunch of baloney. I don't believe in it. He has 72.7 career WAR. Only 10 right fielders in all of the Hall of Fame have something higher than that. MVP, 7 Gold Gloves, 3 batting titles, 3 Silver Sluggers, 5 All-Star games. And that MVP season, 1997, was one of the best seasons a Rockies player has ever had. Like, just take a look at some of these highlights by Larry. That's just something that all Rockies fans will remember.
Yeah, absolutely. And he hit 278 on the road, which is 33 positions higher in the Hall of Fame. So I absolutely think that this guy does deserve it. And plus, he was a lefty, which is so cool. Got to give the guy credit. I mean, I'm all about it.
Well, there's only 6 weeks until the vote right now. Last year, he had 54.6% of the vote. He needs 75%. You got to reach out to those BBWAA writers and let them know that Larry Walker should be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have to see what happens. But Rams, that's all the time we have for you this week. But to stay updated on sports throughout the week, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at sports_CTV. I'm Sydney Wicker.
And I'm Ethan Bird, but tune back in tomorrow night for Ram Life Entertainment, where Justin Rios and Alexa Cordero taste test some pumpkin spice lattes. You don't want to miss it. Until next week, have a great night, Rams.